All right, Unyolo, I'm very happy to finally get you on here. We've been trying
Yeah,
for a while, and technology has not been working.
it's not been
Uh,
easy.
yeah, it has not been easy, but you are the final guest on Quarantine Conversations. So, you
Very
know,
honored.
finishing up strong here.
Yeah.
Um, but we've gotten to know each other a little bit through some of the streams that we've done and different
Mhm.
conversations about movies that we've loved or hated or other things going on in the world. But I think it would be great to start from the beginning a little bit with kind of what got you started with your page. And I know that you're not alone in running your page, so
Yeah.
bringing that to the forefront, and then we'll just dive in and chat some movies and some stuff that you've seen these conversations. We'll touch on similar topics. So,
Okay.
how did Unyolo Movies Blog begin?
So it all started like for a while now. The biggest connection I had with my daughter has always been the movies. Since she's like a little girl, we always watched movies together every night, and then we started going to the cinema together. And it started to be like our little thing because about 5, 6 years ago, we started living in different countries. So every time there was like, she's a big Marvel fan, and I'm a big Marvel fan. So every time a big movie was coming out, I would fly over to see it with her. And it started being that piece of connection that we always had. So about 2 years ago, like we didn't have a nice year, some things happened, and we needed something to just keep together and like clear our minds. So one day we're just saying, hey, why don't we just do something together, like a project or something? So we started talking and said, let's just create an Instagram account and talk about movies. And that's how it started. It was just a little thing for us. We started like posting the movies we liked, our ideas. And then with time, we started like seeing the community, and the community was completely different from what we felt in other social medias. Like it was a lot more loving and together. So we started getting a lot of like nice feedbacks, and we started growing the account. We got to 1,000 followers, and we were like, oh my God, we have 1,000 followers. So we just started making more stuff, and it kind of grew from there. But today is still the same in the core. We just like always will speak our minds. We won't pretend we like something. We want it's still the same thing. We just say our minds. We respect everyone's opinions, and we expect people to respect ours. So that was it. It was just like our love for movies, and Unyolo was a play on the word YOLO, because YOLO is you only live once. But with movies, we always felt that we could live different like lives through movies. We could be Spider-Man one day, the next day we could be an alien in a different country that just wants a planet that just wants to go home. So we started thinking, why should we only live once if we can live through movies? And that's how the name came out. And that's
That's
it.
cool.
That's our little story.
That's a really neat intentional naming mechanism, but also an intentional reason to be doing that. I think that's really quite the neat neat approach to this community and utilizing the social media platform of Instagram for good in this sense. And you all do a lot of. You're at 18,000 plus followers now, so
Yeah.
quite a long way from the 1,000 followers you just referenced. But talk to us about some of the events that you all have run. So through Movie Lovers Movie Club, and
Yeah.
what the impetus was to get that started.
So like I said, we started this, and we started seeing there was a lot of cool people in the community. And one thing that really like kind of set on our minds was that there were some really cool accounts, because we can't really explain why ours grew so much. But there were some really cool accounts that had like 300 followers, that had like less than 1,000 followers. And we just started thinking, this is not fair. There's some guys doing really cool work, and for some reason they're not getting out there. So because I always work with social media, like in my day job, I started thinking, well, we can use things that like big brands use. Like why are we not working together and putting the string of like one person to help the other, and so on. So we decided to create something that we only saw before as a book club, but instead of being a book club, was a movie club. So we would pick a movie together. Everyone would like see the movie, and then on the same day, everyone would put out their kind of like thoughts and reviews on the movie. And the job of the other people was to support them and share the reviews, comment on them, and try and make those reviews be seen by as many people as possible. And that's how Movie Lovers Movie Club like came about. And then it just grew in different things. We started like getting a little bit more original in the kind of events, instead of just being a movie, because we started saying, oh well, 30 people reviewing the same movie is cool, but how about if we get inside people's minds and say, you pick what's the best comedy movie ever made, you pick whatever. So we started creating these events, and from like we always have 30 people in each event, and it's a lot more people wanting in now, and it's really cool. It's like seeing that community working, and seeing the accounts like growing. I think it's something that we all should be doing. It's really cool.
Well, and I've been lucky enough to participate in, I think, two of them at this point. The most recent being What We're Missing During Quarantine, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, it's the neat part to me is being able to interact with some accounts that I hadn't seen before, or that just had not organically come into my algorithm or whatnot. So that's been really neat. So you grew from sort of the movie club to more of these events. What's on the horizon in terms of the events that you have coming down the road, or so what are you thinking, I guess?
Yeah, there were some events that we kind of had to move. We had like a big event that we moved now further along. There was the whole James Bond movies that we all know why he had to move, because we wanted to like kind of build up for the new James Bond to be released. So that changed. This month we still like discussing what we're gonna do, because it's been a little bit harder because we don't want to go also in the bandwagon. There was a lot of people like saying, why don't we do something about movies that talk about Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. But I think that the issue of that is a little bit too serious for us to try and kind of. I sometimes think he might feel like we're trying to capitalize on the problem and getting. So there's a bit of discussion still what we're gonna do, but so there's nothing really on the horizon defined. But yeah, we do an event every month, so we're gonna do one this month for sure. And we try and do it at least once a month. So we're still discussing what's going to be done, but soon enough we're gonna announce. So if you have any cool ideas, we're always open to ideas too. So like some of these events has been like, this is the cool part. Some of these events is not our ideas. It comes from the community that's been joining us, and they just come and say, hey, look, I have a really good idea for the next month, and that's the cool thing. We don't see the page as something ours. We see something as part of the community. So like if anyone wants to participate, and that's the thing, we have 30 people always joining the event, but it's open to anyone. We can have 2,000 people, 3,000, whatever, just like as long as they use the hashtag, then our page is going to share that review. So anyone is open to come in and just give ideas to it.
That's excellent. It's tough to want to keep a page going at a time like this when so much of the world is in turmoil. And but I am a firm believer that sometimes the best thing you can say on an issue is nothing at all. And in terms of doing a movie event, so I think that was probably the right move there. So going back to your page itself, what's the structure? Is there a specific structure in terms of when you post, when your daughter posts, or what's the coordination there?
Yeah, so like we try and post once every day. So the problem then with my daughter is that like when she has school and stuff, she's very she's like the grown up in this page. She's like the responsible one. So if she has exams, she'll say, look, it's your turn, you put up stuff. Then, for example, when she has like, this quarantine has been amazing for like her film knowledge, because she's been watching, like she watched for the first time American History X, Fight Club, Seven, Inception, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. So
she just put up that Inception review yesterday, right?
Yes,
I saw
so
that.
she put that on. So she watched a lot of cool movies, and that's the cool thing with our page is like we know that certain movies, for example, Inception, like in an hour we had 1,000 likes. We know that certain movies kind of like have more attention, but I think me doing a review of Inception is not the same thing of like someone that's watching it for the first time ever. So that's the cool thing with our page is that it allows us to do reviews of really iconic movies by the eyes of someone that saw it the first time. So we kind of try and balance it. We have a lot of posts that we make that are a little bit more like for best cinematography. Now we're doing the best song. So we kind of try and set a line in our feed that's always something related with the movie making part of it. And then the other parts are reviews. So those lists, for example, we do it together. In terms of the design and stuff, it's more on my side. But then we do it together. So like we pick the movies, we kind of make a system that, like, for example, let's talk about best songs. I do my list, she does her list. If there's a song that shows in both lists, that's automatically in. And then we discuss the other ones, and it's kind of like a democracy kind of thing. Some lists, like, for example, best horror, she doesn't do it. She hates horror movies. She likes things like Get Out and stuff like that. But if it's like gore movies, like she's not going to watch it. So things like that is me. But it's more like we try and balance it. But there's going to be times that you're going to see a lot more reviews of Jasmine. Then there's going to be times it's more about reviews of mine. And then the mix up of the lists is with both.
Very nice. And I saw that you had done the MCU fan casting as well. That seemed to be pretty interesting. I always like to see who people are suggesting. And
Keanu Reeves shows up in every single list.
Yes.
No matter, like, even if it's a kid guy, like Keanu is always on, like, it's impressive.
Did you watch the Bill and Ted trailer today?
Yes, no, like that's it. That's exactly what I mean. I think what people feel in Instagram is what like studios are feeling now. If they put Keanu in anything, people are gonna see it. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of Bill and Ted, and that for me just like does not work. But to be honest, I always felt that since they announced it. I think it's too late. It's a little bit like how I feel about Indiana Jones. It's certain characters that I don't think they work when they're older. It's like that stupid kind of young boys just being silly. It doesn't work when they're not young boys anymore. So, and the trailer kind of gave me that feel that I was right. But
well, and what are we getting in Indiana Jones? Like a 78-year-old Indiana Jones or something?
It's ridiculous. No, like it's really like I don't get. I do get it because people still keep on going. And if I was the studio, this is the thing. I'm never gonna blame the studio because they keep making the money. So like the last Indiana Jones was horrible, and they still made a lot of money. So what's making them not making another one? There's nothing there. Like they'll keep on doing it until Harrison Ford is like on a wheelchair and just being pushed around. But well, it is how it is.
Creativity is not always the driving force between or behind movies getting launched. So it's all about.
But again, it's our fault. We talked about this. It's our fault because Ad Astra came out this year. Was an amazing movie. Was completely like a new movie, separate from everything, and spend a lot of money, made no money at all. So that's the thing. Like when we complain, and we can't really complain because they are just making what they know they're going to make money. They make movies like that. And Nolan is probably the only guy that can make an original movie with a budget of like 200 million or more. And the studio is confident that he's going to make the money back. And he's the only one.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's so true. It's so true. What's next for Unyolo's movie blog?
So we like for a while also we wanted to we don't want to run a YouTube channel because it looks like a lot of work. But we wanted to kind of we tried it, we tested out with Casual Moviegoer, and we wanted to kind of make we love to discuss movies with other people, and I think that's something that people don't do a lot. It's like there's this fear of saying the wrong thing, offending the wrong people. And we just would like to have something with people that just want to talk about movies and are not offended. And it was kind of a fight club that we did with him. That he like we were trying to defend what's the most influential movie of the last decade. And he picked Parasite, I picked Iron Man. We both defended why, what was the reason. And I think it was loads of fun for us because it's not a question of what's the best movie, but it's how you defend it. So
Sure.
we wanted to do something like that, but to be honest, we still didn't do it because like we need to create a YouTube channel and just have all that, and time is like something that we don't have a lot because of everything that we're doing. We have some like cool project coming for our 1,000 posts, so like we still have a little bit away from it because we're doing a post a day. So we have a couple of 100 and something days to finish it. But we have something cool coming for that we've been working on it for a long time. So we kind of like doing some projects. We keep on doing our page and like doing the reviews and stuff, always trying to find a different way of looking into things. Like we don't want we don't want to just do what everyone does. So, for example, the MCU fan casting, we did one for Star Wars. We started a month before the Star Wars Day on the 4th of May. And then on that day, instead of doing a review of Star Wars that a lot of people did, we just released a fan casting that our audiences did. So we're trying to find different ways that are more interactive with people. And like I said, we're always looking for ideas. So if anyone has ideas, we're always open for that. But that's what we're doing at the moment. But maybe we can like one day test this out of the Fight Club on your YouTube, because you're doing the quiz, and that's exactly like the kind of thing I like. Like thinking out of the box and trying to do stuff that we all like to do, but it's hard sometimes to translate it into the digital. Sure. And that quiz, I love like quiz. I have games of quiz of movies. I bought the Blockbuster quiz game. I don't know if you ever saw it, but the thing is, like, my girlfriend just says, "What's the point? I'm always gonna lose." Most of my friends are the same, so I need friends that love movies like I do. There's not a lot of them here, so sometimes we need to find them online. So I think that's really cool what you're doing, and we kind of want to do that, but with like the debate. I like the debate kind of thing.
I agree with you there.
As you can tell, I talk a lot. So
I do enjoy that though. I mean, I think when we've been on some watch-alongs together,
exactly,
and other watch-alongs as well. It's, part of it is watching the movie and talking about what you're seeing, but the discussion around, the genre, the series, the franchise, whatever it may be, is more impactful to me.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun to kind of be able to say things that, like you're saying, my friends aren't always, as well versed as I am in certain aspects of filmmaking. But then at the same time, when it gets to some of those conversations, sometimes I'm not as well versed in a specific film or a specific topic as you may be, or someone else that we're on a watch along with.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing, is like seeing sometimes, like, for example, someone that doesn't like horror and seeing certain movies, and they will pay attention to other things. Like someone that likes horror will probably be like doing the body count and seeing how gory it was and if it was a R or not. Someone will probably be looking at the stupid things that happen in the movies that we give it a pass. And that's the cool thing about it, is that if we get different people, and I love hearing if we ask someone like, what's the most influential movie of like the last decade, and like they come out with something completely left field, and then they explain to you and you think, oh crap, you know what?
Yeah,
that's pretty much like when we did this question, someone said Avatar, And I was like, yeah, Avatar was cool, but like, and he's like, you know how many 3D TVs Avatar sold? You know why everyone has a goddamn 3D, like, you know why we are paying more tickets? So influential. I don't mean if it's a good thing, but now every stupid movie is in 3D and we have to pay more to watch it.
That's a good
And
point.
and that's a good point. It is like he was the movie that made all that thing came out, and there was some really awful movies. We paid more money because we thought we were going to get the Avatar experience, and we got there, and it was like just people. Like I saw Spy Kids 3D something. They keep flicking things at the screen,
Yep.
and I was like,
Cheap
"What the
gags.
hell? What the hell is that?" So that's the fun part, is talking with people about movies, and we wanted to do more of that. But yeah, just like setting up this YouTube account, and because the problem with us is we are very like perfectionists. So if we set up a YouTube account, I'm not going to be able to just put it there and say, oh, we'll just do these things. No, I'll start thinking, oh, what we can put there, or we didn't put anything there. So I don't want to open that can of worms and then have something else on my plate. But
I totally understand that. I mean, it's so tough to even just run an Instagram account and a website thinking, I want to do this, I want to do that, and realizing that there's only so many hours in a day and other aspects to life as well. So it does become challenging. I totally identify with that.
Yeah.
How are you?
You do a great job, because you do the YouTube, you do, like, we have our webpage, and like we do reviews every day for Instagram. It was very easy to just put it there. The last one, I think it was the last one was amazing. It was Dr. Dolittle. In our webpage, our last review was Dr. Dolittle. So if you go to our webpage, it's going to be like, like we need to change it, because it's like it wasn't a good movie. But that's the thing, like even our webpage, but we need to concentrate on one and doing it well. So we concentrated on Instagram, but but so we don't want to like be creating more things that we feel like we have to do stuff. But
no, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Totally get that. That makes sense. How are you handling everything going on? You guys are reopening down in Portugal, right?
Yeah.
Or are reopened?
Look, it's amazing. Like we reopen in one day, and in like most of people's minds is like the virus never happened. We have thousands of people in the beach. Everyone is together. People use masks. Is like my girlfriend can't even go on the street because like her parents are doctors, and she freaks out because like people are using their masks like with their nose showing up, and she's like, what's the point? Like just use it right. And that's the thing, like everyone, as soon as the government said, okay guys, we're gonna loose up on it just went ridiculous. So honestly, I think we're gonna be back, not very, like, it's not gonna take a while until we're back at having to close off everything. But
that's what I worry about.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we're lucky because we're still like a small country. We're talking about, we have 10 million people. So you guys have that almost like in one city. So I can imagine how it is. And now it's like, it's some things we can't choose, and this thing that happened with Floyd and stuff, we can choose the time that it happens,
right?
But that also started, we had the big manifest, like what do you call it,
protest? Or
protest. We had a big protest this weekend, and people just go nuts. Like there's thousands of people together with no masks, or like just shouting out, and the thing is, like, we can't forget what's happening on both sides, because there's a lot of things there. But
it's definitely a tough situation all around.
2020 has been a bitch. I'm sorry.
It needs to stop.
It's like, what's going to be next? It's just ridiculous. And
how is Jasmine faring she's in the UK, right?
Yeah, she's in the UK. She's like I said, Jasmine is like, she kind of took it with me. She's very perfectionist in everything she does, and for her it's been tough because it was her last year before college, and she had a lot of exams, and she was already nervous with that. So Now she's been having to study at home. But then, because again, they're stupid people were sharing the passwords of the like the classes that were online. So then you were getting kids showing up there and showing their dicks. So so they had to close down everything that was homeschooling. So now what she gets is like homework, and she has to do it on her own. And it's a bit tough because Jasmine, she does very well. She's dyslexic, but because she started reading a lot of books as a way to fight that, she kind of found ways around it. But it's harder for her when she just has to read it than when she has someone talking to her. So not having teachers has been tough, and then not going out and having to be stuck at home with her sister. And then the other thing is like what's killing us is the flights. We can't fly. So it's been like since January that we don't see each other.
Oh man,
and since she was born, I was never like more than 2 months away from her.
Ugh.
So it's just been like
it's a major change.
It's tough. It's very, very tough. But like I said, it's what it is, and we need to sort it out. And
well, which is cool, going back to the blog, it's great that you're able to go through your account and kind of find a connection through that, even when you can't be physically in the same place. I think that's really out of probably everyone that I've chatted with about what got them started in their accounts, your reasoning for starting it and sort of the impetus to getting things going is really noble, and I think it shows in the different posts that you put out there. You can see the feeling, you can see the care, and that's something different than you get from just the standard, here's the movie I saw last night.
We try and focus more like since the beginning because like we hate spoilers. Like we hate when people say, "Oh, did you watch that movie? It was really cool. How he died in the end." And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? Like, just shut up." So what we want, because we love the experience. Like the other day, something very rare happened because we saw the casual moviegoer share the poster of a movie called Becky. And I really like, because I love design and stuff, I really like the poster. So I went and watched the movie straight away and didn't even like open the trailer, didn't even open like who was behind the movie, who the actors were, nothing. It was like, it's been a while that this happens. And I went in straight in the movie. And I think I enjoyed it a lot more because of that, because everything was a surprise. When Kevin James shows up and he's a Nazi, and I'm like, what?
I was going to say, Kevin James is the only person I knew was in that movie, but I'm also looking at your quote from it. There once was a little girl called Lulu Wilson that gave a powerful and scary performance that you all need to see.
Look, watch that movie. That kid is like, that kid is scary as hell.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
Oh, really do. Like, look, and funny thing, I shared it today, is the #1 movie in the box office in the USA today because he released on all the drive-ins.
Yep.
So it's #1 movie in the box office. What's amazing. But the thing is, so that's what we tried to do, was like every time we review movies, we try more to talk about the experience the movie gave us. We talk about the cinematography and stuff like that, but we try more to talk about the experience, what we felt, what we liked and why, but we don't really go into plot, like what's the plot, what happened, what didn't happen. So it's more about the experience that we had and why we liked certain movies, what he meant to us. Because I think that experience of just going in, not really knowing that someone said, "Oh, look, this movie is really cool because of this," but not explaining what it is I think it's really cool. And it's something that I miss, to be honest. I think like doing this blog, it might sound a little bit ridiculous, me complaining about too much information in movies, but
no, I get it.
It's like the worst thing this year, like for me to show that, was The Invisible Man. Did you watch The Invisible Man?
I did. Yep.
I watched The Invisible Man, and I kept feeling sorry for the director, because the director wanted to to make us feel in a certain way when he's trying to make us like confused if she's crazy or is there an invisible man there? Is she crazy or is there an invisible man? And he tries and plays with the camera and we never know. But the thing is, we all know because we saw the trailer, we know the title of the movie, we know all the information. So what he done was really well done. If you go into that movie, imagine going into a room, not knowing what it is, not knowing the title, not knowing anything. You get a completely different experience because you like kind of figuring it out. What's going on here? Is she nuts? But we all, and I feel a little bit like we don't get that anymore. And it's a bit sad because we know everything. We know how it was done. We know like how much it cost. We know like that they fight with each other on that day, and that's probably why the movie's not that great. And we know everything, and well, sometimes we miss a little bit of that magic that we used to get it before. Because
you're going in with too much information.
Yeah, like we know everything.
Yeah,
and then we are looking for it. Like, for example, I always make fun of you with that Justice League thing of the mustache. But the thing is, like, everyone says, oh, look at that mustache. You can see it in every frame. Not every frame, but we see it in every frame because we're looking for it. Whoa. The guy's just walked in. Whereas there's frames that it's impossible not to see, that he looks like the Joker. But some of the other ones, if we never knew, and I think that's the cool thing. Like when we see what's behind, I just saw not long ago the behind the scenes of John Wick. I don't know if you saw the special effects reel.
No, I haven't.
Like that fight of the knives that he has in the John Wick, the number 2. All the knives are CGI. Like the knives that get stuck on his back and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
It's so well done. But when I was watching the movie, I didn't know. I was like, how the hell these guys are doing this? It's so cool. If you watch that now, it's amazing.
Trying to remember what recently I read was CGI after I saw the movie, and I was completely shocked by it. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. But speaking of, upcoming movies and things like that, this is the final question. What were you looking forward to this upcoming year?
Well, now it's Tenet because I don't think I don't even know if anything else is planned on coming out now. But I'm probably one of the few, but I love an underdog story, and I was really, really excited about New Mutants.
Same here.
Like, come on, those guys deserve that movie out now, and I hope Disney holds on until they get a cinema release, because it's not fair now if they get dropped on Disney Plus or anything like that.
We've got the release date here.
Yeah, I know, but it's been changed so many times.
So many times that it doesn't even show you what the new one is when you look it up.
So, but that was one that I was really excited about, because I think the trailer looks cool. I like the idea. I'm a big comic book guy, and New Mutants is an interesting story. And then that's that thing. I just wanted them to get a break, because every time it looks like they got everything. They got like the virus. They got everything against them.
One thing after another.
Yeah. So New Mutants was like probably the one I was more curious about, because I wanted to know what it was like. But my big movie coming up is Dune. I'm a big fan. I'm probably one of the only ones a big fan of the original one. I think the original one, like, you have so many problems, but there's something there. There's something in that story. There's something in that story that's really, really cool. And I wanted to see, and like Villeneuve, like, he can't do no harm. Everything he does is perfect. So
I just downloaded the audiobook for Dune, so I'm looking forward to learn. I actually have never read it, and I don't really know much about it, so I really want to check that out before. Obviously,
you never played the games.
I don't think I have.
It was games. It was like Command and Conquer. You had to build like the cities and fight against each other. So.
Maybe I did. Maybe I'm just not remembering it.
But there was a lot of stuff when that movie came out. It was kind of a big thing. But then with time, it just started there was no one also that like after David Lynch failed, like I
Yeah.
think no one had the guts. Everyone thought, well, if he can do it, let's just leave it alone. But curious about what's gonna be on that.
I'm same boat, and I'm looking for another like sci-fi hit.
Yeah.
And I think that might be it. But hey, I want to be respectful of your time, and I also want to thank you for your patience in trying to get this together. I think
No problem.
I'm lagging a little bit here. It looks on my end, but it's technology's been challenging, but it's also been really great to be able to do quarantine conversations and connect with a lot of people through Instagram. So as things are starting to get back to a busier time and things are reopening, the hope is that we all can keep in touch. And hopefully we don't find ourselves back in this situation in a couple of weeks, and we can or a couple months I should say, and we don't have quarantine conversations around too. But
you still should like find a way of keeping this up, like maybe change the name because it's not quarantine. But I think some of the conversations you had were really, really cool, and like showing that some people, I loved some of them because it showed like people that are making movies and stuff that we sometimes think, oh, they're never gonna respond to me. What's the point? They're too like important, and they just showed up that they really people like that just love movies and talking about them. And I think that's like something that's really unique, and you should keep going. Just find the different formats.
There's I have a few plans in the works. Cool. Like we were talking about earlier, I tend to have a lot of different ideas that I want to try to whittle down and figure out the best way to execute them. But there's some ideas in the works. Probably going to take a little bit of a break from this format, but we'll get back to it shortly.
Okay, if we can help with anything, you can count on us. Okay.
I appreciate that. And hey, Quarantine Conversations, thank you so much for wrapping it up for us.
Thank you so much to get us.
Unyolo Movies Blog. Follow him on Instagram. And is it unyolo.com?
It's unyolo.com.
Go read about Dr. Dolittle and
Dr. Dolittle.
And we'll be talking
Joker
soon.
one.
There you go.
One there. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for having us. Bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.